Okay, for this video, we're going to look a little bit more into negative exponents. For this first one, negative exponents, when we have the product rule, the first thing we got to talk about is what is the product rule. And the product rule says if you have common bases and everything's being multiplied, you can add your exponents. So for the first one, it should be really quick. We will just do v to the, well, then we got to figure out what negative 7 plus 6 plus 5 is, and I believe that is 4. So that is our final answer. Final answer is v to the 4th. We just, again, added our exponents because we had common bases. Let's move on to the next one. Same idea. We do have common bases, that's good. So we're going to add our exponents. They're being multiplied. These w's are being multiplied, so we're going to add our exponents. And we will get negative 2 plus 8 plus negative 7. Ooh, we actually get a negative 1 if you add those together. We can't leave that as a negative 1. This goes back to our other video on negative exponents. We're going to have to leave this as a 1 over w, just like that. Quotient rule with negative exponents. For this one, we are going to use our quotient rule, and our quotient rule once again was if you have the common bases, we just have to subtract our exponents. So it's the opposite of this one. This one we were multiplying, this one we're dividing. This one we added our exponents on the top, and on the bottom here we're going to subtract our exponents. So if we subtract them, and it might be easier for some of you to think about this just by typing it into a calculator, but I'm going to write it out here. I have to take the top one minus the bottom one. So negative 6 minus negative 9. A lot of people will just write this down as negative 6 minus 9. But you have to remember you're taking the top one minus the bottom one. This is the top one, this is the bottom one, and you have to subtract them. So it's negative 6 minus negative 9. What is the answer to negative 6 minus negative 9? I believe it is, since these become a positive, it is a positive 3. Negative 6 plus 9 is 3. So I am done with that one. Moving on to the next one. It seems pretty challenging down here, but it's really not. We're just going to take it one step at a time. Let's start with the x's. 4 minus negative 1. 4 minus negative 1 is x to the 5th, not x to the 3rd. I know a lot of people are probably thinking x to the 3rd, but it's x to the 4th minus 1. 4 minus negative 1, 4 minus negative 1 is a positive 5. Let's move on to the y values. Change up the color here. Y values. We will have negative 2 minus 9. Negative 2 minus 9 is y to the negative 7th. And you can type that in on a calculator to check my work there. But it should be y to the negative 7th. Last one. Z to the 6th, z to the negative 6th minus 8. Well, negative 6 minus 8 is negative 14. Now what I want you to notice is that every time I did a subtraction problem, whether it was positive or negative, they all went on top of my fraction. We can change that up next. Now that we know we have some negatives, we'll change that up, but everything should go on top to start. Which means my final answer, I'm just going to move it down a little bit. My final answer will be, well, the 5 for the x, this one is going to stay on top because that's not a negative. So x to the 5th will stay on top. Y to the 7th will come down here. Z to the negative 14 comes down. I accidentally wrote the negative though. Those become positive. And we are done with that problem. This was our final answer. Okay, power of a power rule. We've talked about power of a power rule as well, but now we're adding in, again, negative exponents. Same thing applies here. If it's power of a power, we are multiplying. And it's pretty simple. W is going to be to the negative 9th power there. We have 3 times negative 3. That's negative 9. Again, we can't keep negative 9 as our final answer as an exponent, so we're going to have to change this up to be 1 over W to the 9th to get that 9 on the bottom of the fraction instead. Next one. On this one, it's the same idea. We have U, we're going to multiply our exponents. We get negative 15. Can't have